Yo, welcome back to the live stream. It's your boy Tokyo Stoner and we are back in business. Today's going to be focused on how to get your uncensored New Game Plus save file set up in as little time as possible. A lot of people have been playing on up patch and their stats are already too high for them to achieve a successful down patch, as in, their stats are going to break every time. So, if you're in that boat, or if for whatever other reason you want to get your New Game Plus character set up very quickly, that's what this guide is about, teaching you how to do it in minimal time. So yeah, this guide is for everyone, but it's really focused on players who have not yet experienced uncensored New Game Plus. And it's also for people who have tried to play New Game Plus uncensored, but have struggled or have run into issues. Right, so if you come to this video and you're wondering why your HP, your beta, or your attack power, or your heals have been reset, it's because your stats are too high. What's currently on the screen are the maximum stats that are allowed for, successful down patch. When I say that, I'm talking about maximum HP, maximum beta, maximum attack power, and also how many heals you have. You can only have 5,000 HP, 2,200 beta, 1,050 attack power, and if you look in the bottom left hand corner of the screen, you're going to see that we have 8 heals. So those are the maximum stat caps. If you are under those stats currently, your down patch is going to work fine. Right, so the first thing that I think is really important to make very clear is that if your stats are higher than the hard caps of down patch or 1.0, then you do have to start again, right? So let's get into it. First things first, you're on the home screen. You are, of course, going to have to hit new game. To give you some perspective on how long it would take complete that new game, here's my run, my most recent one. It took 8 hours to get through new game. Now, something to keep in mind is about 4 hours of that is actually cutscenes, because what you'll probably be used to on New Game Plus is the ability to skip some of the cutscenes. When you start a new game, you're not going to be able to skip the majority of the cutscenes. What I would recommend is just spamming X all the time, because I actually saved quite a lot of time by spamming X. There were a lot of cutscenes that looked like they were unskippable, but because I was just spamming X the whole time, it would cut the dialogue down quite a lot. It's kind of difficult to identify which cutscenes are skippable from which ones are not. So on my playthrough, I was literally just mashing X the whole time. If you just wanted to have one run through, right, just so that you could get to the beach, or like just so that you could get your character online, you could do it in quite a short amount of time. That's like 4 hours worth of gameplay, 4 hours worth of cutscenes. So some players are going to prefer just playing at a regular pace to get the New Game Plus unlocked. Some of you might be in a rush, or you might just want to just get it done quickly, right? And in that case, you would drop your difficulty down to story mode. It's going to open up the action assist menu. For me, I just like to turn this off. Action assist just means that like whenever there's a dodge or a parry opportunity, the game's going to flash the instruction on the screen. I find it really jarring and confusing, and it kind of messes up my timing a lot because they give you extended windows and it just feels very off to me. So I like to turn the action assist off because it just throws off my play and makes things take longer than they need to. Right, so now that you've got your settings set up, story mode, action assist switched off, we're going to go through the skill trees and I'm going to show you the most important skills that you're going to need to get through the game quickly. So the most important ability in the entire game is going to be Shockwave. So your main focus early game is going to be about getting your Shockwave online. I would go with the damage boost. You want to put your first points into there, and you really want the wave enhancement and the finishing blow increase. So now that your shockwave is set up like this, it becomes very strong. You can basically use this to cheese every boss in the game. If they're doing something you don't like, you can just hit them with this attack, and in most situations it's going to knock them out of it. There are a few scenarios where the bosses might have hyper armor on their attack, or maybe they're going into a scripted attack where they like fly in the air and they do some kind of special move or something. So there are a few instances where you're going to need to dodge or do this or to parry, but if you just want to just autopilot and just get through the game as quickly as possible, you just basically hit everything with crosswave and they're going to be wrecked. Once you get enough points, you're going to go for infinite wave and bring that online. You notice I left the beta energy withdrawal behind. That's not because it's not good, it's just because I'm trying to show you like how to get set up with very few skill points, because keep in mind you're going to be doing this from new game and you're in a rush, so it's not like you're going to be running around farming up this and farming up that. You're just trying to get through it as quickly as possible. So every skill point you get, you're going to want to buy something that's going to make it easier for you to keep the pace up. You with me? Because once you're in New Game Plus, then you go and do all the stuff you want, to go and get yourself leveled up. There's nothing saying you can't hit max level on your first playthrough, but if all you wanted to do was to get your New Game Plus save file brought online, this is how you would run it. So yeah, you go with damage boost, crescent slash, and you also want this fully upgraded. Again, like these final ones, they're quite expensive, so don't expect to get them until a little further in the game, but you're not going to need them until a little further in the game anyway. But I think these two definitely want to be brought online. Then again, you'd go for your damage boost on the triplet, your quadruplet, the impact enhance, your finishing blow increase, and then you would hit the infinite pierce. The shockwave, you're going to be using it from the very beginning of the game to the very end of the game, right? The slash, you're going to be using it to deal with crowds. If you're getting surrounded by a bunch of trash mobs in the dungeons or when you're walking around the deserts, you just hit them with this, and that's why you kind of want this online. There are a lot of scenarios where you might just get kind of stun locked and it'll get janky and you might get tilted or it slow you down. That's why this is here. It's to get rid of those trash mob crowds. Triplet basically serves the same purpose as shockwave for the setup that we're talking about, whereas you're using shockwave to interrupt the enemy. You can also use triplet to interrupt the enemy, but you also get this finishing blow increase, which damages the enemy's balance. So triplet is not necessarily like super vital to the build. You know, shockwave and slash are the most important of the two beta skills to get this job done. You can completely ignore shield breaker because you're not going to need it, and if you want any shield damage, you're going to be getting it from Tempest, right? And also these attacks, they still do shield damage, they just don't do as much. So yeah, I would completely ignore shield breaker until you're set up or you're on New Game Plus. On your burst skill tree, the most important one is going to be Tempest. You're going to want to go for damage boost and life steal. The shield break and the post storm are going to be less important, but I would still recommend getting them because especially if you're playing on a higher difficulty. Up here you would focus on descending break, you would go for aftershock, and you would go for aftershock 2. Right, so now that you've got your life steal online, that's when you're going to come over here and hit up descending break, go straight to aftershock 1 and then straight to aftershock 2, because these give you, I mean, it's more of a meme to be honest, but like it gives you the extra balance damage. So like, and it's a very strong attack. You jump in the air, so you avoid damage, and when you come back down, you crash land on the enemy, you hit 2 balance charges. Like, it's a pretty good move. If you don't know what balance is, that's underneath the enemy's health bar. They got all these yellow diamonds. If you break all the yellow diamonds, then they get stunned and you're able to hit them with a retribution attack, which does big damage. So yeah, I would recommend going this way. Once you've got all of that online, you could either hit your punishing edge just to give you a bit more movement, and I would say just shield break and the post storm are pretty cool too. Overdrive's not really necessary for your first run, so again, it's like shield breaker. It's something you get once you can afford to be a bit more luxurious with your skill points. That's when you look for the overdrive. You can buff punishing edge, but it's completely not necessary for what we're trying to achieve. You definitely want judgment wave, you definitely want revenge. If you're playing on story mode, it's less important, but judgment time, you would get that at some point as well. This side of the skill tree can be completely ignored unless it's something that you use a lot. You can just completely ignore this and upgrade it later. And you probably want to buy these skills before you even get onto your beta, which is beta energy recharge, beta energy recharge 2. You can get the beta chain if you want, although it's not necessary. Definitely need ambush. So like, we focused on the beta and burst skills first, but I can't stress enough how important ambush is to getting this kind of playthrough set up, because it's going to save you so much time. And it's not only going to save you time, every time you assassinate an enemy, you're getting skill points. So if you got your camouflage exospine equipped, which we're going to show you in a minute, you're going to be running around the map and most enemies are not going to be able to see you, and you're going to get so many opportunities to assassinate strong enemies while you're running through the game, and every single one of those encounters is going to give you a ton of XP. Ambush really, it speeds things up and it helps you level up your character faster. So like I said, it makes your playthrough quicker and it makes your level up grind quicker. I can't stress how important ambush is to getting this done. Rush chain 1's not necessary, but it is pretty important. You know, it's one of the best skills in the game and it adds a lot of kind of freedom of movement. So it's not necessary, but I would recommend it. Obviously, lightning rush and infinite rush, they're not fully necessary, especially if you don't use rush that much, but I use rush a lot. So like for my playthrough when I was doing this, I did have the rush chain and I did have the infinite rush because I just thought it made sense. I just didn't focus on it straight away. Now over here, you want beta energy recharge and you want some more beta energy recharge, because just being full of beta energy is going to help you get through the game quicker. Anything you can do to increase your beta recovery is going to be golden for what you're trying to achieve here, because like I said, the most important attack for this run is going to be shockwave leading into infinite wave, right? We're using burst, but nowhere near as much as we are relying on this single attack to just crush every enemy and destroy every boss. And so of course, to use infinite wave, you need to have beta energy. You need to have at least 2 blocks to use it. Ideally, you have maybe 4 or 6 blocks so you can use it and sit on some. So yeah, all of these things here, like beta energy recharge for attacks and beta energy recharge for parries, you want them unlocked. The focus boost is optional. I mean, we're going to unlock it in this video, I reckon, but focus boost is optional. Anyone that's struggling with their parries, I recommend you get it. The counters are completely optional, so that's up to you if you want to grab them or not. Repulse is necessary. Reflex boost leading into double dodge, very important. These burst energy recharges, again, not necessary, optional, but really cool, especially for the end game where you're fighting stronger bosses like, say, Providence, Elder Natiba, Raven, Unidentified Natiba. For those guys, you might want some burst energy recharge. And again, these parries and these counters, these are completely optional. Now, when we're talking about the build, what you want to be looking at is Beta Trance type exospine, Burst Trance type exospine, attack speed gear 3 stars, 2-star attack speed increase, beta charge gear, and a beta recovery gear. With this build, you're going to be able to get through the game lightning fast. The only stuff you might want to keep an eye out for is maybe some 3-star shield penetration, because this is really going to help you take out Providence if she's giving you any trouble. Providence can be very troublesome. She's got a lot of health and a lot of shield. Sometimes I pull out the shield penetration gear just to keep her in check. And another thing I'd like to say is, like, when I'm fighting Elder Natiba, sometimes I'll just put on 2 recovery gears. And the difference between the recharge and the recovery is just when you're wearing recovery, you recharge energy when you're taking damage. When you're wearing a recharge gear, you gain energy when you give damage out, right? So if you're damaging the enemy, that's when you want your charge gear. But if you're just getting hit over and over again, you want a recovery gear. So if there's any enemy in the game that's giving you a ton of trouble, you would put on 2 recoveries. So I'm going to leave a link in the pinned comment or in the description to like a guide or something that gives you, shows you the location for every gear and every exospine in the game. So, you can just go and find them. I would go through the game and show you the locations right now. But yeah, I need to go away in a few days. I've got very little time at the minute. So yeah, I don't have as much time as I usually have to like go through the game and show you all of those bits and pieces. But I will link a guide that breaks all of it down. The Beta Trance exospine, the Burst Trance type exospine. The other one you might need if you struggle with parries and dodges is a reflex type. So yeah, Beta Trance, Burst Trance, and reflex type. All 3 of these exospines can be found in Matrix 11. So if you are trying to keep a good pace, you would just run through the game all the way up to Matrix 11 and just know that anything you need to look for can be found here. So just spend a little extra time here to get these exos. Your 3-star attack speed increase is dropped by the Unidentified Natiba after you defeat her. The 3-star beta charge gear, this is dropped by the demo crawler. That's the final boss that you fight in Spire 4. Up in the spaceship. Now the beta recovery gear, you unlock this on the Spire 4 mission before you enter the space station. So to get this one, you'll be at the area which is called the Space Logistics Complex. You'll be walking forward and Lily's gonna pop up and a cutscene will trigger where they want you to shoot down the container to get it to drop. When you're at that part of the game, instead of shooting it down and going forward with Lily, just have a little look around. If you go to the left, there's a chest there that's guarded by a robot guard. You just want to defeat him, open the chest, and that's where your beta recovery 3-star gear is going to be. So yeah, just to recap, your beta trance, your burst trance, your reflex type, which are, like in my opinion, these are the most important ones in the game. These are all found in Matrix 11. Your attack speed is dropped by the Unidentified Natiba. Your beta charge is dropped by the demo crawler. The beta recovery gear, you pick it up in Spire 4 before you enter the space station. The only other gear that you might want is the camouflage type exospine. If you want to pick up the camouflage type to help you get more assassination so you build up your skill points faster and just to stop you getting caught up in like a bunch of silly fights along the way which will slow you down, you would want the camouflage type. You pick this up at the reboot tower in the Wastelands. So when you enter the Wastelands, you got the reboot tower. When you're climbing up it and you're doing the whole thing, if you just pay attention, you're going to see there's a small red chest. Just pop that. That's where your camouflage exospine is. Now, last but not least, you've got your 2-star attack speed increase gear. Now, all of these exospines and the charges and the recoveries, they're kind of optional in that you can use any build that you enjoy. But in my opinion, these 2 attack speed gears, especially for 1.0 players, because we don't have access to Mark 2s, right? We're doing everything with Mark 1s. You definitely want both of these attack speeds. Now, the only other tricky one is the 2-star attack speed, and we're going to show you where it is right now. So, of course, we're at the Stalker softlock location, or just like the Stalker boss fight room. So you just come back on yourself, come back through this way. There's the enemy you need to defeat. And so if you want to know how to recognize when you're in the right area, you're going to get over here. Once you see this rest point, and you can come back for this. If you missed it, you can come back for it later, so there's no worries. But yeah, it's quite easy to miss this guy. So you just want to turn back on yourself, come and get him. Now, these guys are gross. Let's laser beam him. Oh, he's dead already. We'll let it off anyway. For the memes. Right, so now that that's handled, we're going to come in here. You're going to open this chest, and this is where your 2-star attack speed is going to be. Like, even there, as you can see, it says unable to hold more speed increased gears. The game will only allow you to hold one of each gear so that you can't make super broken builds. But like that blue item on the floor right there, that is the 2-star attack speed gear. So that's where you get it from. So yeah, that concludes this guide, man. That's all the information you need. If you've been playing on up patch for too long and your stats are now broken, maybe you just want to get a second save file set up because you'd like to create your completely offline new game plus, you know the setup that we've got that protects you from future patches. Maybe you're trying to get one of those set up. Like I said, maybe you come from up patch and your stats are brick. There's loads of reasons why you might want to do something like this. So yeah, whatever the reason is, that's the information you need to get it done. And so yeah, just coming back here now, like I was showing you the first playthrough, if you were following what I was saying, is in like you're just running through the places quickly. It's good to know the maps because you can really get turned around in the dungeons. If you don't know your way around, I would recommend watching some of the previous streams on the channel. Like making new memories, stuff like that. There's a lot of streams on the channel where we go through the game quite quick, so you could just follow the pathing, or go and look up some speed runs. If you look up glitchless speed runs, you're gonna see, you'll have a video there that's gonna just give you the pathing and you can just follow along. So yeah, either watch a video from the stream because we've been running through the game quite quickly, or look up a speed run or something like that to help you out. It's not really the bosses that are gonna slow you down. What you're really trying to sort out is the cutscenes and the dungeons, because you don't want to be losing like hours and hours in the dungeons, because that's just gonna slow you down too much. And the cutscenes, as I said, are unskippable. So just spam X to get through all the cutscenes as quick as possible. Now, 8 hours is how long it took me to just beat the game the first time, so that I could unlock New Game Plus and get access to the New Game Plus skills. I'm just going to bring you here so you can see my current save files. Obviously that 8-hour save file became a 32-hour save file. That is after doing all of the fishing to get the ocean made. That's after playing through New Game Plus, grinding all of the skills all the way up to max level. When you're trying to max out your skill tree, I mean, it would have been good if I said this earlier, but like it's a tree, I guess it's a little gem for those of you who stayed until the end. When you're trying to max out your skill tree, you don't really want to be farming enemies. Farming enemies was effective during the demo days because we didn't have any other way to generate skill points. Now that we have the game, the easiest way to generate skill points is to do side quests. I'm not talking about the bulletin board at the hard R shop. I'm talking about actual real deal side quests. So like where you speak to an NPC, they tell you a story and you go on an adventure. If you're doing side quests, you're going to get so many skill points. The game is very generous with skill points. And so yeah, also don't get put off by that 32 hours because a lot of that is AFK. At that point, I had done the bulk of the work. So I'm on stream, I'm hanging out, I'm talking, we're chilling, we're watching cutscenes. So, there's no reason why it would have to take you 32. I just wanted you to see the save file so you can see, okay, cool. One run through with the story mode, with the correct build. If you know your dungeons, you can get it even with the unskippable cutscenes. You can do the whole thing in about 8 hours. I thought it was important to show you this too, to show you, look, this save file is completely locked in now. I'm very happy with it. Another thing to keep in mind is like, I'm guessing you've already done something like this, like a 100-hour plus playthrough. If you've got something like that already, what you're trying to do this time is just simplify it and streamline it. You don't want to be here for 100 hours doing this. You just want to get it done in 10 or 20, as you can see here, 30. 30 was done at a leisurely pace where I wanted to go and get certain things. And so yeah, if you want to kick it up a notch, you can definitely do it faster than the 32 hours. You could just move very quickly. I mean, off the top of my head, the things that you're going to want to collect on this playthrough are going to be your favorite gears, your favorite exospines, your favorite costumes, your favorite hairstyle. And that's probably it. Once you've got those things, you just want to get to this point so you can get your save file locked in. The last thing I'd like to mention is just that obviously you can see here I've got 2 save files. I did a separate video about this on the channel, but there's no reason why I shouldn't drop that information here as well. What you're looking at is a completely offline New Game Plus uncensored setup, so that no matter what patches come in the future or anything like that, if they introduce save file incompatibility, somehow, it's never going to be a problem if you have this set up, because you can back this save file up to a hard drive using the system restore option. If you do that, you're going to have a completely offline save file that you can restore from at any point in time. The only thing you would have to watch out for is maybe like a PS5 firmware update, something like that. But in that scenario, you would have to manually update the PS5, right? So I would say if this is really important to you and you really care about this game a lot, or you don't want to lose access to this version of the game, I would recommend, not updating your PlayStation straight away. Wait for the updates to come, wait a day or two, go around the internet, see what everyone's saying, and then you would update. So yeah, I hope you guys had fun. I hope it was useful. I hope it was helpful. Party on, players. Keep enjoying the game. Whether you're playing on 1.0, 1.3, 1.1, 1.2, I know different people playing different versions of the game. Some people wanted to stay on the specific one that they were familiar with. Hey man, whatever version you're on, party on, have a good time. It's a banging game. If you are playing down patch, you know this is the place to be, and I hope you found this video useful. I hope you found it helpful. Hype and describe, links in the description, all of that good stuff. The Waves Volume 1, Oceans, that's out now. Links in the description for that too. Go and download, stream it, bump it to support the channel. Stay lit, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you lot in the next one. Peace. Free 1.1, 1.2. I know there's a bunch of people out there playing on a whole bunch of different versions, got different internet setups, different types of situations. So whatever version you're playing on, have a good time. Oh, the fucking game bricked. How long ago did that happen? Oh no. Oh man, that sucks ass, bro. Yo. Oh, what the fuck was I even saying, man? Pussy old thing, bro.